You've been a boy and a girl.
I guess.
You know, one minute you're really convinced you're a girl.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, I'm happier being male. Well, what happened?
I guess I just realized that I could be happy without completely changing who I am.
What do you think would be the effects of mixing puberty blockers, direct estrogen intake, and the plight of childhood? Do you think that these things together would provoke a positive reaction in the future? To be clear, I don't have a problem with trans people or anyone with gender dysphoria, but rather this push to normalize trans culture in children who have enough problems to deal with as it is. Patrick was 12 years old when he began his transition and was given puberty blockers, but before that, estrogen pills by his mother. He actually threatened to commit suicide if she didn't give him the estrogen pills. How did he get the idea that he was a girl? To quote him directly, "It was the first time I'd heard the phrase trans, and because I'd always identified with girls, I thought, well, this makes sense. I'm probably a girl." This is exactly the problem I have been attempting to address for quite a while now. Children are impressionable and easily convinced that they have issues. Think of those commercials for antidepressants, where they make the music upbeat and the symptoms vague, so anyone watching might think, hey, I might be depressed. I might need this new experimental drug that they're using television to advertise with. So I found this video of the interview in question from a few days ago on Australian 60 Minutes.
You've grown breasts, haven't you, as a result of the hormone therapy that you were being given?
Yeah, so I just started developing like a girl would, and which was the thing that I wanted at that time, but now that's not so helpful.
You know, it's almost as if we shouldn't allow children to manipulate their natural growth.
But it's what Ali did next that's alarming. Australian law currently says kids need to wait until they're 16 and have court approval to begin hormone replacement therapy. But Ali allowed Patrick to take her own estrogen medication from the age of just 13.
It's somewhere in this area in the interview that the woman says that Patrick threatened to commit suicide if she didn't give him her estrogen pills. Should we grant children executive decisions over their health, especially if they threaten their own lives?
Sydney paediatrician Professor John Whitehall says the numbers of children being treated with gender dysphoria in Australia are currently skyrocketing.
You don't accept that the true levels of gender dysphoria are as high as appear to be being diagnosed at the moment?
No, I don't. I've never seen it, and I think it's much rarer than the current reports would suggest.
According to the American College of Pediatricians, and they are a socially conservative advocacy group of pediatricians and other healthcare professionals in the United States, gender reassignment pre-puberty or mid-puberty is dangerous. And here is a short list of reasons why, and they expand on them more in the article. A link is in the description to the full article if you're interested in checking it out for yourself. The first point I wanted to bring up is actually number 5. According to the DSM-5, as many as 98% of gender-confused boys and 88% of gender-confused girls eventually accept their biological sex after naturally passing through puberty. Now, starting from the top, human sexuality is an objective biological binary trait. No one is born with a gender. Everyone is born with a biological sex. A person's belief that he or she is something they are not is at best a sign of confused thinking. Puberty is not a disease, and puberty-blocking hormones can be dangerous. And then again, I reiterate, according to the DSM-5, as many as 98% of gender-confused boys and 88% of gender-confused girls eventually accept their biological sex after naturally passing through puberty. And then number 6. Prepubertal children diagnosed with gender dysphoria may be given puberty blockers as young as 11 and will require cross-sex hormones in later adolescence to continue impersonating the opposite sex. These children will never be able to conceive any genetically related children even via artificial reproductive technology. In addition, cross-sex hormones, testosterone and estrogen, are associated with dangerous health risks, including but not limited to cardiac disease, high blood pressure, blood clots, stroke, diabetes, and cancer. Rates of suicide are nearly 20 times greater among adults who use cross-sex hormones and undergo sex reassignment surgery, even in Sweden, which is among the most LGBTQ-affirming countries. And then finally, conditioning children into believing a lifetime of chemical and surgical impersonation of the opposite sex is normal and healthful is child abuse. And I honestly could not have said it better myself. The argument I've always heard in support of allowing children to transition early is that they'll be able to beat nature and beat puberty. When trends begin, people don't flock to them because they're cool, but because they're able to identify with certain aspects of it. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video with a reiteration. I must say again, and this is very important, I think. According to the DSM-5, as many as 98% of gender-confused boys, which would mean trans women, right? 98% of them and 88% of gender-confused girls eventually accept their biological sex after naturally passing through puberty. So next time someone tells you, well, we should just allow any kids who think that they might be girls or vice versa to be able to transition at any time. But 98% of boys that think that they're girls eventually grow out of it naturally. I just think that's really important to keep in mind. So I'll leave you with one question. Do you think children at the age of 12 are equipped with enough wisdom and experience to be able to make a decision like gender reassignment surgery?